Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is our latest offering, What's Hot, a show that focuses on the biggest buzz on the day straight. Today on this special, we are going to be, of course, focusing on a whole host of earnings that have come in and the reaction of those specific stocks. What should your strategy be on those specific stocks as well? Post the earnings, that's something that we will be focusing on. Of course, we have a new debut stock today. Shadowfax Technologies gets listed and that's going to be in focus, and we are going to be getting you an overall understanding from our top expert as to how to approach the stock right after getting listed. And in case you already got the allotment, then what should your strategy be? We will also be focusing on the glittering gold rally and the never fading silver rally that we've been facing in the year 2026 alone. We have seen that the silver prices have gone up by 58 odd percent. Gold prices have also rallied pretty sharply. Gold prices now hovering at $5,200 an ounce in the global markets, have definitely crossed the 1.65 lakh rupees per 10 grams mark in India. We've also seen the silver prices up strong at almost 3.7 lakh rupees in the domestic markets and up over $115 an ounce as well. So we are going to be focusing on that too. Of course, Suzlon is also going to be in focus. It has won its big order and that's something that we will also try and focus on. Right now, the markets are up by about 100 odd points at 25,282. So going strong, a lot of oil and gas related stocks also in focus. That will be another area that we will focus on. So stand by. Let's first up take you to NSE and BSE, where the listing shots are going to be seen. Shadowfax Technologies IPO getting listed in the trade, and that's something that investors must definitely watch out for. You can clearly see the shots coming in from there at this point in time. It had got a decent demand when it comes to the kind of subscription figures were concerned, but at this point in time what you do see is that the listing or the GMP trends were also indicated to a muted listing. Right now you do see that breaking news up on your screen. Shadowfax shares have got listed at a 9% discount to the issue price. So unfortunately for all the allottees, the stock has listed at 112.6 rupees on the NSE and it has listed at a discount, and therefore you do see some weakness on the stock on its debut day. We will be focusing on as to what were the issues that why the stock has not really got off to a very strong start. Will there be an opportunity that we do see the stock pick up pace eventually, or will this be a stock that you will have to really show some patience on in case you've got the allotment already? We have seen a 9% discount on the issue price on NSE and about an 8.8% discount on the BSE as well. So that's how Shadowfax Technologies has got listed. Let's also welcome our guest on board. Prashant Tapse from Meta Equities is joining in. Warm welcome to you, Prashant. Good to have you with us. Let's kickstart by taking your view on Shadowfax Technologies, only a 9% discounted listing at 112 rupees odd. How would you really look at it, and what would you advise to all those investors who already got the allotment?
A very good morning, Sakshi and the viewers. Yes, we were also not so bullish on the stock. The reason was on the valuation, slightly expensive, and recently the company has turned into profit. Again, I think the losses are still heavy in the books, so that may continue going forward also. But when we compare with the sector growth, I think the sector is really going very fast, and I think the top line as well as the volume in the business of Shadowfax will grow faster. But again, due to the heavy cost pressure, there will be some kind of losses expected in the coming quarters as well as in the coming financial year. So that was the reason why the market did not like it. It's a new age, some kind of business model for a logistics business where they are leader in the reverse logistics. I think that will take its own time to understand the market and then take a good call on that. But my advice would be again, if a risky long-term investors are there, they can continue to hold, and conservative investors try to book losses and exit the stock at this point of time.
Okay, so that's the IPO space for you and the new debut space for you, and where we have seen some weakness today. There was already an expectation, like Prashant said, that there could be a muted debut, and there you see the same happening today. Let's also focus on the big market view as well. Prashant, how are you looking at the markets? Of course, we are heading into the long weekend where we will be looking at the budget. The first time when the stock markets will be opening on Sunday as well. So pre-positioning ahead of the budget, what's your expectation today? Again, there is a bounce. We are hovering at 25,250. Do you see some sustaining on this move and maybe building on it as well?
I think no, the whole week is been driven by a lot of events. One is again the biggest would be the mother of all deals which happened yesterday. The market is trying to digest those things and analyze which sector and which stocks gets benefited out of that. So yesterday the
Yes.
recovery of the second half was all because of the clarity on the India EU deal. So again, second would be again the Q3 earnings which are getting impacted on the large cap stocks as well as on the mid cap stocks as per the expectation, which are not so good as per the market expectations. So that is also one concern for Indian markets where earnings are missing in the Q3 as well. Again, we are waiting. We are seeing how FIs are being continuously selling the market. So any rally is being taken as a selling opportunity for everyone, even the big traders. All the FIs are trying to book their profits. Even if today, if you see 150 points, there was a good uptake in the day high, but again, markets are down by almost now 40-50 points from the day high, and now it's sitting at 80 points. So overall, the markets will remain very volatile because every day some or the other events or news are coming back, and we are waiting for again Fed comments with respect to the interest rates, where nobody is expecting a big hike, but again a big cut, but again expecting some kind of good positive hawkish statement from the Fed chairman for the rest of the calendar year. So overall things again ending up with budget, which is a major event for Indian market. But again, Indian governments have kept this budget as a non-event, no event for any investors like us. They do all the biggest changes out of the budget, like GST 2.0, which was done in September, and again a lot of other defense and railway capex was announced out of the budget only. So I'm not expecting any big changes, but obviously yes, the focus would be on the manufacturing, focus would be on the Atmanirbhar kind of story,
Yeah.
which is going to keep Indian markets very strong going forward.
Okay, got that. Let's actually focus on then some of the stock specific coverage as well, and then we will focus on some several sectors that are also buzzing. Let's focus on Suzlon first. This is a retail favorite stock, and we need to talk about it because the stock is up by about 3% in trade. It has won the first ever order from ArcelorMittal Group for an order size of 248 odd crore rupees megawatt wind power project, and therefore you do see that the stock is this is in Gujarat that the order has actually been given, and we do see that the stock is also reacting positively too. How would you look at Suzlon? In 2024, in the early part of 2025, Suzlon was one stock where everybody was betting big on. The stock had gone past 80 odd levels in a short span of time, and showing promise to all those investors who had long lost any hope in Suzlon because it had gone back to single digits. But in the last 2 years odd, things started to move on the positive end. But in the large part of last half of 2025, the stock actually slipped. Even now, if you see from its peak levels of 2024, it's down by about 50 odd percent. How would you really look at the stock and the opportunities ahead?
I think the renewable energy story is very much intact in India, when Suzlon has a very greater play in terms of wind energy and all. In terms of valuation, very comfortable to have a fresh position at this point of time after looking at the valuation distortion from almost 80 to 40 levels right now. So very positive for a fresh investor. But again, one should understand even people have invested at 80, so there should be some kind of averaging down at this point of time. But again, government is focusing more on the thermal power installation again, because we know renewable energy is not sustainable energy for all the months, all the weeks, all the days. So government is again focusing more on where BHEL is getting a lot of traction with respect to the thermal power equipments and also. Suzlon, great story. I think valuation very comfortable at this point of time. Fresh investors, I think they should start accumulating on every dips.
Okay, so opportunity for accumulating on dips on Suzlon for long-term investors there. Let's also talk about earnings-specific coverage. Asian Paints, from the large cap space came out with the earnings yesterday. Even yesterday post-earnings, the stock fell by about 4 odd percent, and today it was again down by another 6% in trade as well. So stock came under pressure after mixed brokerage reactions to Q3 results today. Of course, we have seen that the impact is largely being seen due to subdued demand that the management has also talked about. And the unseasonal rainfalls that have continued to have an impact on the demand space. The shorter festive season is another key aspect that the management has highlighted, which has impacted the performance. There's also a one-off cost that the company has incurred due to labor costs and due to some of the other one-time expenses that the company has incurred. What's also been seen as a pain point is that the decoratives business volume growth has again slipped to about 7.9 odd percent. Last quarter itself, it was at double digits, but there has been an impact again here. Although on the PBDIT margins, the management is confident of continuing to maintain 20% plus kind of margins going forward from here, as they are focusing now on a lot of cost structures too. Let's talk about what's in the offing for Asian Paints. 5.7% down right now, 2,473. Prashant, how would you read into the earnings and what would you guide investors? Last time around, last quarter specifically, there were a lot of brokerage houses that were turning positive. This time there's been a mixed reaction. Citi has a sell, but they've still raised their target price. Nomura, on the other hand, has given over 3,000, 3,200 kind of target prices as well. So there's a mixed view there. What exactly is happening in Asian Paints? How should one be approaching? Is the domestic competitive intensity now on the back burner? What are the pain points that will still continue to keep Asian Paints on the edge?
I think the pain point will continue with respect to the industrial demand and supply. The way how other big corporates have entered into paint segment, because if they know the volume play, the great play in these markets. There are, despite the top line growth, despite the EBITDA margins were almost stable or improved from QOQ, the numbers in terms of volume, in terms of realization looks very weak for me at this point of time. I think that is the reason why a lot of brokers are getting underweight, underperforming, downgrade on this stock. I think fresh investors should avoid this stock at this point of time. I think there should be some kind of clarity once there is a good growth in terms of volumes and all. But I see the trend will continue to be on the negative side going forward. The long-term investors did not worry. I think the stock has reacted more than what market has expected. So I think that is the one reason why the stock is down by 5-6%. I think the market again will recover to again 2600 and it will remain stable. For fresh investors, I am just avoiding this stock at this point of time.
Okay, fair point. Let's also try and understand some of the key sectors now that are on the move. Now, oil and gas sector, that's the top moving sector today, 2% higher, especially the upstream giants are moving up. Look at ONGC, it's up 6.5%. Oil India, that's also up by 7.5% right now. So you're seeing a lot of move, even on the OMCs, IOC is up. You do see some of the others, HPCL is also up in trade right now. So the entire oil and gas space, even the gas space, you have GAIL that's up by 3%. The entire space is up and about. So let's try and understand what's the key reason there. Does it also again have to do with what you were pointing out earlier, Prashant, mother of all deals that was signed yesterday with Europe?
Yes, I think that is the major reason why even both upstream as well as the downstream both are trading on a very greener zone. Otherwise, if you see crude being up by 5-6%, there should be up. Stocks like ONGC and oil should be in the green, and other OMC should be in the red. But again, I think petroleum and petroleum products will have a greater export-import opportunity in the deal. I think that is a clear indication from yesterday's updates what we have read on the India-EU deal. So that is the only one reason why I think the things are moving on the greener side. But again, crude is up. I think ONGC and oil can have a very windfall benefit in terms of getting a positive move where the stocks are already up by 3-6%.
Okay, one more sector that is also really getting an impact because of the India-EU FTA that's been signed is the liquor stocks. Most of the liquor stocks are down today, almost up to 12%, viewers. Look at the shares of Sula Vineyards. Look at Radico Khaitan, United Spirits, United Breweries, Globus Spirits. You will see them, all of them are actually tumbling in trade and are trading near the day's low point. Why is this? Because European wines are now set to enter the Indian market at lower prices because of this bilateral free trade agreement. This will provide import duty concessions under the pact on the liquor space as well. And therefore, we will see at least on the wines specifically, the European Union wines, they will fall from the 150% import duty to now almost 20% for the expensive ones. Even though for the cheaper wines below 2.5 euros, there will not be any duty concessions. So let's try and understand this space. Liquor story at this point in time, how would you deal with it?
Obviously, we know the imported wines and spirits, which has huge demand in Indian markets. So if we have such kind of lower duty period, I think that will create a lot of pressure to the top line growth, volume growth, as well as the margin growth for the Indian companies like United Spirits, Radico, and even Sula Vin. Obviously, Sula Vin is almost down almost 50-60% from the year high, if you see. But today again, this stock is under pressure going forward. But I see the compression in the margins will not be immediately, but I think it will take its own time, 1 or 2 quarters, so that the actual demand and supply gets adjusted in the markets. So as per my understanding, the deal will take its own time, almost like 6 months to 12 months to get impacted on the draft and then have some kind of real impact in the economy of the Indian market. So I think yes, the immediate impact is negative. There will be a tough competition, and I think volume may decrease in the Indian domestic manufacturers.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you understand how to really look at it. One more segment that is on the drag is again the auto space as well. Prashant, from the looking at how Indians are really, interested in finding out what expensive cars will actually fall into the cheaper space now. This entire space is also coming under pressure since yesterday. Now, we do know that, of course, this EU FTA will come into effect largely over the next year, not in this entire year, because it's only the signing that has happened. So, one clarity that we want to give to all our viewers is that don't expect that from tomorrow you will start seeing the most luxurious cars, probably seeing, drop of prices there. But it will take some time, but eventually it will happen. So, the likes of BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, and the likes who are from the European market, especially above 17 lakh rupees in the Indian markets, they will be able to see sharp cuts in import duties. Right now they're at 110%. It would come down to 40% and eventually down to 10%. So Prashant, how are you looking at the impact on the auto segment back home? And of course, as a consumer, do you think it's going to be more merrier and of course, enjoying more cars and that will be able to see on the roads when it comes to the luxurious segment because of this deal?
It's a very great welcome note for Indian markets, where a discounted of like a 3 crore car will come by 2.5 crore in terms of their market prices going forward once this gets implemented. So I think yes, obviously, but Indian markets, Indian people are more on the cost-effective vehicles like where Tata Motors, Mahindra, Maruti play their main role. There are some kind of sentimental impact where we have already seen like 5-10% momentum in the yesterday's pressure, but it will take its own time to get adjusted. And the deal should be understood very clearly. It's a luxury car segment where it will get very cheaper in the markets, and we don't have such kind of big brands in India to have that kind of 50, 60, 70 lakhs worth of cars in India. So obviously BMW, Mercedes, and they are not listed in India, so they will not get immediate benefit. Yes, again, if you see M&M yesterday, that was down by almost 4 to 5%. Today is already trading in a greener zone. So it's an opportunity for me. I think they're not in that say 70, 81 crore kind of segment in terms of their products. So I think these Indian cars will get a lot of benefits when we compare with respect to cost adjustment. So, but yes, volume there may be some impact, but that would be again next year.
Okay, got that. Let's focus on the other asset classes beyond the markets also, and that's gold and silver. The unstoppable rally that we are seeing, the glittering rally that continues for both gold and silver. It is continuing to surprise many with the everyday kind of a move that we are seeing on gold and silver. So much so that silver prices have shot up above $115 an ounce, and gold prices are now up over $5,200 an ounce as well. In the domestic market also, never seen before prices is what you see and wake up to every morning. Of course, this is creating a lot of FOMO for those who at every stage thought that we want to see a cool off take place, but that never came. And secondly, for those who are now thinking of entering at this peak price, what is the piece of advice that you would want to give to all our viewers at this point?
I think fresh advice to buy at this point of time is very difficult to take a call on this point of time. But again, see, every new day, traders are trying to get some kind of short calls or the levels, and they are getting squeezed every day. So I'm getting a lot of calls on, I'm short on this silver, so what to do? I think 120 can be a stop loss, $120 can be a stop loss for them, where they can hold their position. If it crosses above this, I think it will again enter into new zone where it can even touch 135, 140 levels. So I think 120 should be a stop loss for any traders who are in this short position. But again, in the gold prices, I think again the demand and supply. I think Trump is making all the new nonsense in the market, so make sure that there is a geopolitical tension, uncertainty carried away every day. Suddenly, something on the South Korea dialogue. So I think that is also creating a lot of in the market. So every day Trump is making sure something is in action, and the dollar with respect to gold, silver, all are up and every morning.
Absolutely. All right. But Prashant, if I have to ask you towards the end, the big budget is going to be coming in next. And, if you're already planning and telling your clients what to look forward to, which sectors will be in focus, what kind of stocks to look forward to adding to their portfolios pre-budget, will there be a list there?
Obviously, the list is in process right now. We are not yet released that. But again, if you see Indian markets, we are expecting government to focus more on the manufacturing side and give a lot of PLA schemes so that the exposed companies will get some kind of relief in terms of their capex which they want to do going forward. So I think manufacturing would be one focus. Again, taxation, there can be some kind of adjustment so that the consumption story, the growth story continues to go along. But I think government again more and more they will keep this as a big event so that the after the budget announcements can make a lot of noise in the market.
Okay, got that. Do you think we will see a post-budget rally? We've largely missed out on a pre-budget rally this time. Will there be a post-budget rally?
I think no, but markets are actually waiting for the father of the big deal. So mother of the big deal is already gone. So father of the big deal, good deal from the US Trump. So I think we have to wait for that. FIS and everybody is waiting for the father to announce the deal.
All right. Okay, Prashant. Always a pleasure to have you with us on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out for explaining all these various insights to all our viewers. Hope you have a great one. Of course, we'll be watching the budget together, and of course, we'll be catching up more opportunities to speak to you and to seek some more insights as well. Viewers, on the markets, 0.4% up at 25,277, 100 points higher. But let's see how the going goes for the session today. Oil and gas, metals, commodity space definitely shining bright. And we have even the broader markets participating today. Banks, financial services also moved up in tow. You're also seeing real estate also bounce back. IT stocks showing you some signs of a pickup. But autos, pharma, FMCG, defensive pack largely on the weaker end. The good part is India VIX is also down by about 2%. So some sense returning onto the D Street in a positive end at this point in time. So stay tuned with us on to Business Today Television as we continue to cover the markets for you in various aspects. Earnings conversations will continue, and of course we will now be getting you more insights into what to expect from the upcoming union budget as well. So that coverage will also come in. I'll be joining you now at 12 noon to answer all your stock related queries on Daily Call. Stay tuned for that.
From overnight global cues to live Dalal Street moves, we